Hey guys, it's Thorpian here, and I have spent an obscene amount of time gathering information for this cooking guide. So I hope you all enjoy this. It took a very long time, which is why I didn't put it out when I wanted to, but that's fine because it is great, it is thorough, and it is fan flippin' tastic. So if you want to know how to get cooking experience fast, this is the guide for you. So we're going to start here in Molo, and we're going to assume that you are level 1 cooking. You are starting from 0, essentially. Well, 1, but you know what I mean. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk over to the baker, Remy. Now, it is also possible to do this part of the method um, for free, but I'll show you that if you have a little bit of coins to start, you don't need a lot. I think it's like 120 coins or 180 coins will be plenty in order to do this method, and you'll actually make profit at the end when you hit level 6. So you can actually go to the wheat field, you can farm some wheat, and you can take it to the mill here and make it into flour. But alternatively, if you have 180 coins, or if you're willing to spend a little bit of time making some money or getting some coins, this is going to be a lot easier for you. So you just go up to Remy here, and you buy exactly 25 flour. Now, 25 flour is going to get you all the experience you need to get to level 6. Sorry. Yeah, 25 flour. All right. No, we want 34 flour. All right, 34. So you want 34 flour, I'm going to buy 35 for good measure. So you just click here and you make this flour into dough. So you make this flour into dough. All right, guys, I've made the dough. It's exactly 35, exactly a full inventory. That's really convenient. I'm not really sure why it's like that. And then we're going to take this 35 dough and we are going to turn it into bread. So I'm going to skip here again because nobody wants to watch this. All right, we have exactly 35 bread. Now, what are we going to do with it? We are going to not sell it to the baker. You heard me. Do not sell it to the baker. Why? Because we want to make some profit off of this. So we're going to purchase all of the cheese that the baker has. Now, obviously, if you don't have 1,200 coins, you can't do this. Just sell the bread and move on. But this way you can make some profit, and it's kind of nice. So you take the cheese, and you just go over here to the frying pan, and you turn as much as you can into grilled cheese. Don't worry about using all 35 bread. This is just a quick way to make a little extra money in order to fund our next step if you're really strapped for cash. But again, it's really not that big a deal. Our next step is going to make us tons of money, so it doesn't really matter at all. All right, guys, I went ahead and I made all the grilled cheese. So now I have 40 grilled cheese. Yes, there's the 2x multiplier and 15 bread left over. I'm going to go ahead and sell the bread to Remy for 165, which is way more than we paid for the flour. And I'm going to run to the general store really quick and sell the grilled cheese in order to make a little extra cash. And while I'm at the general store, I'm also going to buy buckets. Buckets? But why a bucket? What does a bucket have to do with cooking? Well, the next step of the guide is at level 5, you unlock the ability to make butter. Now, you're actually going to be level 6, and we got there because we wanted to be able to make these grilled cheeses. It's not necessary to get to level 6. So but we sold the grilled cheeses, we made a little bit of profit, and most importantly, we now have money. Hopefully you already had money before, but if you didn't, it's a little bit of money. And now we've made the buckets. So what do we do with these buckets? Well, what we're going to do with these buckets is we're going to make butter. We're going to make an obscene, unhealthy, ridiculous amount of butter. Why? Because butter is going to get us approximately 29k XP per hour. Now, you only need 7.6k XP to get to the next step, so it's going to take you about 20 minutes to get up to level 18. So we're just going to milk this cow, and we're going to turn this milk into butter. And we're just going to do this for about 20 minutes, and that is all you need to get to level 18 cooking. Okay, guys, so I went ahead and I did all that butter and I sold the butter to the baker. If you want information on how to do that, just check out my butter money making guide. And at this point, I have level 18 cooking. Now, what am I going to do at 18 cooking? So this is where we start to diverge because there are two options in terms of cooking. You can't cook in a vacuum, unfortunately. You need to do at least one other skill, or you can keep doing butter. Butter is actually about 29,000 XP per hour. At level 18, you unlock the ability to cook trout. But the problem is you need level 18 fishing and you need level 18 strength in order to fish the trout. So if you don't have level 18 fishing, if you don't have level 18 strength, get them. Or if you really, really, really hate fishing, then you can go ahead and um, continue to do butter. So this will be about 40k XP per hour, the fishing, and the cow is about 29k XP per hour. So it's possible to skip this step. At level 33, you unlock a step that doesn't require you to do fishing, but I would recommend just getting the fishing and strength levels because this is a great way to get food for the early game, and it's a little faster in terms of the cooking XP. Alternatively, at level 18, you can actually farm and cook Brumblegrub. So I'm going to show you how to do that after I show you how to do the fishing. But for that method, you need level 18 farming. So you'll either have to choose fishing, farming, or to continue getting XP in a slower way. But this guide is all about how to get the fastest XP, and I've tested a lot of ways. So trust me when I say that trout is the best. All right, so we're going to come over to this Winston here at the fishing shack. Winston? I think his name's Winston. Anyway, and we're just gonna fish raw trout. And once we have an inventory full of raw trout, we are gonna take it over to the grill, which is right here. Now, I'm not gonna show you getting a whole inventory, but you just get the fish, you take it to the grill, and you cook them. And what's cool about this is you can actually cook it two at a time. This is what lets you get 40k XP per hour using this method. And we're going to stay here until we get to level 33. So from level 18 cooking to level 33, we're going to stay at the trout if you choose to go the fishing method. It's probably better for early game. I think it'll be a little faster than the farming method depending on your levels. I think at an equal fishing and farming level that the fishing will be a little faster. Now, if you have farming level, obviously do the farming. If you have fishing, do the fishing. That's the point of this. All right, so I'm gonna cut here and I'm gonna show you guys how to do the farming method if you're interested in that. All right, guys. So in order to farm Brumblegrub, you need to be able to get into the Goblin Village. Now, this is a little bit difficult if you're, or the Goblin Hollows. This is a little difficult if you're just starting out. So I would recommend it's that you have to complete like a mini quest from that guy Worm that you just saw outside, and you need to defeat a kind of difficult little mini boss. So if you're just starting out, I would recommend the fishing method for sure. If you've had some combat experience and you're not, or you really, really hate fishing and you want to get combat experience, then you can do this instead. If you notice, from the fishing, I only am using an offhand aquascope because you need to complete the hand fishing quest in order to do that method. So all you need is an offhand item. You don't need any tools, which I think actually makes it a little faster. An alternative is to use a tackle box if you're fishing because you get more clickables. I would recommend getting a tackle box if you plan on doing the fishing method over time. So for the Brumblegrub, we just need a scythe of any kind. I have my fancy schmancy scythe over here, and you just walk over to the Brumblegrub in the Goblin Hollows, and you farm it. So you just walk over here and you left click the stuff, and you don't do it with a scythe because you do it with gloves. So yeah. But again, so it might be faster to fish because I'm testing these methods with, well, with gloves, but gloves are easy to get. So yeah, but I think that fishing is honestly better if you're starting out. If you already are farming, or if you don't like fishing, or if you really want to do it this way, feel free. But you just, so this is the other downside to this is you actually have to click all of these individually. Which can be a little bit of a pain. So once again, this is equivalent in terms of XP per hour, but I would highly recommend trout fishing instead. And you just take these over to the grill that's right here and you grill them. So it's pretty simple. It's an alternative that is approximately equal XP per hour. And when you do this method, you get about 40k XP per hour in farming and about 40k XP per hour in cooking. When you do the trout method, you get about 40k XP per hour in cooking and approximately 34,000 fishing XP per hour. So that is, you'll do one of these two methods in order to get up to level 33. And level 33 is where we unlock the ability to do something quite fancy that I'm actually kind of proud of for figuring out. And I'll show you what that is right now. All right, I've ridden over to Kogo, which is the monkey place, and as you can see, these mobs are aggressive, but because I've done the quest, the monkey mask quest, I can wear a monkey mask and they become unaggressive. So don't go here unless you've done the Kogo quest. Continue doing one of the other methods. It is the fastest way of getting XP. You can switch to higher level fishing things if you want more fishing experience, but you can't really get more cooking XP per hour until quite a bit later in either fishing or farming. So I would recommend staying at one of those two methods unless you have access to Kogo. Now, this method is available starting at level 33 cooking. And what you're going to do is you're going to walk over to this fancy schmancy little fletching shop. And you're going to talk to this guy, Aldo. And Aldo sells bamboo. Now, this is a lot faster if you have a farming backpack, which I do, but I don't have it on me right now. And you are just going to buy up all of Aldo's bamboo. Now you can do this on multiple realms, and you can actually get quite a good bit of bamboo and fund your cooking adventure for a while. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my farming backpack on just so you get an idea of how fast this can be. And I'm going to take my horse, and I'm just going to ride it back and forth from Aldo to the bank, and I'm going to buy up all of the bamboo that he has. The bamboo that he sells costs 75 gold each. So you are going to need a pretty solid fund of money to do this method. So if you have money, it's great. If you don't, obviously this method is not for you. Now, you don't actually lose a lot of money from this method. You just need to have a good bit to start for it to be worth doing. So if you have a way to make money, or if you want to farm some money, I have some guides to show you. I'll try to come out with some more that are more like mid-game level guides. So you just go back and forth, you buy all the bamboo. I'd recommend buying the bamboo shoots too, just because I like fletching, but that's really, up to you. So you buy up all the bamboo, and then you're going to have a large stash of bamboo like I do here. Now what do you do with this bamboo? Well, you are going to head over to, any city you want. I kind of prefer SkyBlock because I think it's the closest for the stations that we need. So I'm going to go over to SkyBlock. I'm going to pop in to the bank here. Now, you can use a backpack in order to carry more items here for this method. I don't recommend it. I just hate shuffling things in and out of the backpacks. If they change a way where you can insert all and also remove all at the same time, then maybe I'll start using the backpack. But you just grab your bamboo and you can ride your horse here to save a couple more seconds. But you pop over to this house right here, and you go ahead and cook your bamboo in the cauldron. Make bamboo pulp. This requires level 33 cooking, gives 75 XP per bamboo pulp, and actually will make you about 45k XP per hour, which isn't that much better than our last method, which is about 40k XP per hour, but it will make you about 45k XP per hour, but that includes the shopping time. So 45k XP per hour, including the shopping time. It's slightly, barely better than Trout, so if you want to switch it up, you can do this. Now, the real reason that I like this method I'm about to show you. One of the hardest things to get levels in the game is Artisan. Why? Because, first you can do clay, which is great, but then after a while, your only real option becomes woodcutting handles, and woodcutting is the slowest and most annoying skill in the game. So what I actually like to do is I like to use this bamboo method partially to get cooking XP, but more importantly because it allows me to get artisan XP. And I'll show you how in just a second once I finish cooking up this inventory. Now you can also just cook the bamboo, but the problem with that is paying 75 per bamboo is really, really a significant amount of money, and you can't really make it back off of the pulp. However, if you come up here and at level 30, you'll need level 33 artisan for this, so you can do clay until 33. Just watch my guide on how to do that. And you can make bamboo string. Now, bamboo string actually gives you 90 XP per string, which is a pretty good way of getting artisan XP. In fact, this is how I got level 51 artisan. I went all the way from 33 on 51, almost entirely on this method, except for when I took a short break to get level 45 woodcutting. I did some artisan. Oh, actually, no, I did fletching. So yeah, I basically went from 33 to 51 on this method, and I'm probably going to go all the way at least to 60 on this method. Now, the reason that this method is great, I'm going to show you right now. So if you go to the general store and you try to sell a bamboo pulp, it's worth 7 coins. Who is selling just tons of gold bars? Why would you not sell this to a smith? Somebody's an idiot. Anyway, so if you go to the general store and try to sell the bamboo pulp, you get 7 coins. That's a loss of 68 coins per bamboo. Obviously, that's not really an easy thing to deal with. Now, you can go ahead and cook all that bamboo and then artisan it later to make the money, but you'd need a large sum of cash to do that, so I would highly not recommend that. Bamboo string, on the other hand, sells for 63 coins each. So we buy our bamboo for 75, we get 75 cooking XP and 90 artisan XP, and at the end of the day, we lose 12 coins per bamboo. Now, that might sound like a lot if you're poor, but the reality is that that works out to about um, something along the lines of like 5 or 6 million for level 75, which I think is a great price for the speed that we get. Okay, so that's what you can do at level 33, and I would honestly, I'd probably recommend doing that until at least level 48 cooking, if not 55 cooking. And the reason I say that is that there aren't any better or faster ways of getting XP until you get to those levels. So let's talk about the fishing side of things first. So if you don't want to do the bamboo buying and artisaning method, or if you don't have the coins for it or whatever, after you do trout, you can actually stop at level 33 and fish catfish instead. Now, catfish won't actually give you more XP per hour in terms of cooking, but it will give you more fishing XP per hour, so you might think that it's worth doing depending on how you feel. It's actually going to be about the same amount of fishing XP, or sorry, of cooking XP per hour, but you will get 45k fishing XP and 11k strength XP per hour instead of the 34k and 8k that you would get with trout fishing. So I would recommend definitely trout fishing and then catfish fishing if you're interested in doing the fishing route. That being said, it's the reason you're switching is not to increase your cooking XP, it is to increase the fishing XP. So just take that with a grain of salt. So again, you want the aquascope or a tackle box if you can, and you just want to fish these catfish. Now this is near Skygoror, and you're just going to grab them and take them directly to the grill. So this is what you're going to start doing at level 33. You will need level 33 strength to do this method as well. So if you don't want to train that, then obviously you can do some of the other things I'll talk about in this guide. But you just take this catfish, if your horse works, over to the wonderful, fantastic, beautiful large grill. And it has to be a large grill. And you cook the catfish. Now you can only cook one at a time, which is a little annoying. But as I said, the cooking XP and fishing XP per hour. So the cooking XP is the same as the trout. The fishing XP is somewhat better. Not by a ton, but it is better. All right, so that is catfish. And you will do catfish from level 33 if you choose the fishing route until level 36 if you want. So again, the cooking XP is pretty similar. Actually, for Urchin, it's a little less. So I would not recommend Urchin. You can do it if you want, because I know people like net fishing. It'll be pretty close in terms of cooking XP, and I'll show you how to do that right now. All right, guys, so we're here in Tortuga at the bank, and what we're going to do is we're going to be fishing urchins. Now, This has like we're going to use a diamond fishing net, we're going to use our aquascope, and the reality of this method, unfortunately, is that unless you have good gear, it's probably not worth switching to over catfish. So I would just continue doing catfish unless, and you need chum, um, unless you really want the fishing XP and you have pretty decent fishing gear, or you have the money to buy it. So um, I would recommend catfishing. But if you really want like a very slight increase in fishing XP if you have good gear, then you can go ahead and do this method. And of course, I went over the wrong part of the mountain, so I need to go back this way. Okay, so you want to kind of go over this mountain. There's like a small path that leads up. You can also take a shortcut if you have a high enough agility level. Unfortunately, I don't because can't be bothered to grind that nonsense over and over and over again. So you want to come up right over here and just fish. So you are going to get urchin. Now, what you're going to do with this urchin is a little different than what you do with other cooking things. So you're going to get as much urchin as you can hold, obviously, and the more um, space you have, the better. So, a fishing backpack comes in handy. And you're just going to head over this mountain, which you can't do unless you have the fishing shortcut. So you have to kind of hop your way up to this side and go over this mountain, which actually works out fine because the place we're going is the anvil. Yes, we cook urchin at the anvil. So we're gonna hop over, jump onto this building, jump up to this building. Be careful you don't fall into that void over there. And just make our way over to this anvil. And we are going to, I need a hammer, of course, because I'm an idiot. All right, well, you grab a hammer, you right-click this. I'm going to show you how to do it, just in case anyone ever asks. So we are going to use a hammer to cook, which is fascinating. So I'm just going to grab my handy-dandy hammer. Handy-dandy. And we're going to cook this urchin by smithing it, which isn't smithing, it's cooking. So it's under miscellaneous, and you hit uni, and you smith. So they recently shortened the time for this, so it's a little bit more worth it. But again, it's going to be pretty close to the same cooking XP you get from a catfish or from trout, but it will give you a slight increase in fishing XP if and only if you have decent gear. So, diamond fishing net that you unlock at level 40, you can use the fishing net before it, which is the sapphire fishing net. You could add some mods to it, and then it's close enough to worth it that I'd probably do it just for the change of pace. But honestly, catfish is probably the way to go. All right, so that will be sea urchin. And the next thing that we will be doing is now we won't be doing seahorse, we won't be doing pufferfish because the steps to cook these are too complicated. The next thing that you're gonna fish is sea snake. So I just made this portion of the video actually to make sure that all of you know that I walked all the way over here, and then I remembered that salmon and sea snake come together. So there is no point in fishing sea snakes because you're going to be spending way too much time catching salmon, which isn't worth it for the experience. If you are really, really have your heart set on cooking sea snakes, you can pay a premium for this activity, and you can buy sea snakes from this guy's shop. He sells raw sea snakes, and cook them on the frying pan that he's got right here. Now you can't sell them back to this fella, but you could get some really fast experience here for the cost of some big bucks. So these sell for, I wrote this down. Yeah, these sell for like 109-ish or so. So you're going to lose a significant amount of money. So I highly disrecommend fishing or cooking sea snakes. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to go to giant crabs. So giant crabs unlock at level 55. Now, yes, for those of you following along, that means that you are going to be fishing catfish from 33 to 55. And urchin, if you want a change of pace, is an option. But generally speaking, nothing else is worth the time for cooking. That it kind of sucks. That's why I personally recommend the bamboo method, but obviously this will allow you to fish and cook and get pretty decent experience. All right, guys. So I'll see you at the crabs. So after fishing sea snake, we come here to the giant crab. This is back in Tortuga, same spot as the urchins, and we use a spear again. You probably want a nice spear. This is the best spear I have for this video, and I can't fish crab anyway. But the point is that you want to fish giant crab once you hit level 55 fishing for better fishing XP and for better cooking XP. Now, I haven't been able to calculate the exact rates for this one because I don't have the fishing level to fish the giant crab myself. Um, but I am reasonably confident that it will be better than Urchin, both for in terms of fishing and cooking XP, and therefore will be better than Catfish for both fishing and cooking XP. And you want to take this over to a cauldron. Now, if I remember correctly, there is a cauldron right here. So you're going to take it to the cauldron, and you are going to cook your giant crab and just pop it over into the storage and rinse and repeat. Now, for the sake of completeness, I am going to show you the correct path over the mountains. So you pop into the storage, and you're just going to want to go this way to go over this little mountain to get to the fishing spot the fastest way possible, besides the shortcut. So you just pop over right here, and here are your urchin and crab fishing spots. All right, so that's it for the fishing portion of the guide. Now I'm going to show you the farming portion of the guide. Okay, so the farming portion of this is not nearly as intense or interesting as the fishing portion. There's basically nothing that's really worth cooking in terms of farming, except maybe pyre peppers. The experience of those isn't, it's not fantastic. It's probably pretty similar to other things. You don't really make money, but it can be, it can be better. Well, it's not better than the bamboo cooking. It's probably pretty close, maybe a little bit worse than trout, but you do get farming experience. So if you're trying to do both, you can cook the pyre. And the nice thing about the pyre pepper cooking is that you can just harvest the pyre pepper and use a mortar and pestle. And these are north of Pyre, near the volcano. It's a safe area, and you can just use a mortar and pestle right at that spot and just drop the pyre paste. But I'm here because I wanted to talk to you about mandrakes. So at level 55 farming, you unlock the ability to do mandrakes, and just to show you guys that I'm not a complete noob, I can farm these and I can cook them, so I will. So you cook you will actually need your scythe for this, a farming hat if you have it, obviously. I left mine in the storage. Farming backpack is always nice. And you will need a ring of regeneration, or multiple rings of regeneration. Why? Because every single one of these that you will do, you have to re-click them after each one, and they will actually damage you 25 health per mandrake. Now, this, obviously, the more regen you have, the better. It's a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean quite annoying, but it makes for really, really good experience if you're able to sustain kind of those rings of regeneration. And they're not too hard to make, so I think it's worth it by far. And it's just a lapis ring. You can make a lot of them in bulk pretty cheap. So you are going to want to harvest these mandrakes as much as you can. You may also need food to do this method because, frankly, these things are ridiculous and do a lot of damage. But they do give you pretty good experience, in my opinion, both in terms of farming and actually in terms of cooking, which is what we're interested in this guide. So ideally, you would have the 2 or 3 goblin adventures completed, and you can actually bank these right at the deposit box. But in the terms of being realistic, we're going to assume you haven't done that. And I'm just going to show you where to cook them. So you will need pots in order to cook these. So you want like a stack of pots in your inventory, which I don't have with me at the moment. And you're just going to cook these in the cauldron to make mandrake tea. Now, using this method, you will make actually a obscene amount of experience. It's about 105k farming experience or cooking experience per hour, which is over double the previous methods. And you will make approximately 125k farming experience per hour. Now, for those of you who don't have the tier 3 goblin adventures unlocked, like me, Um, you can find this patch over here, and I actually tested using this patch, not the deposit box patch, so it could even be more experience per hour than that. So this is the patch that you want, and then you just hop your way over to storage or use a mount if they will be working soon. Hopefully they will be working properly soon. I know the devs are working on the nav mesh and such for that. So you will just hop your way over here to the bank and store them, or you can hop your way over to the cauldron. I recommend probably banking them and using the cauldron in Tortuga, I believe, is the closest cauldron to a storage. And then you just cook them as before. So you're going to need pots for these. You're going to make Mandrake tea. Mandrake teas are basically useless, but you can sell them to the general store, and you can make a pretty decent bit of cash doing this. So that's basically it for the cooking guide, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. There are more cooking levels, obviously. I will actually add one more honorable mention that you actually need materials for. The other honorable mention will be my pumpkin pie video. If you want to watch that, you can make a lot of money making pumpkin pie, but you do need to farm pumpkins, so it can take a little bit of time, and it's not necessarily fantastic XP per hour because of that. However, the other method that I will show you as an honorable mention that does not involve any skilling outside of farming is really, really good XP per hour. In fact, you can get as much as 166,000 XP per hour. So the method I'm about to show you is the absolute best method of getting cooking experience. All right, guys, so we're here at a place that most of you have been multiple times, but you didn't know that this is one of the ways that you can use to get the best money in the game. If you go to the general store and you buy up all of their apples, you can actually use these apples to make apple pie. Now, the problem with this method is that you will need approximately a bajillion of ingredients per hour, but actually you will need about 110, 105, I think, stacks of apples. So 6,800 apples, 1,700 flour, egg, and sugar, and 851 salt, and 851 pans per hour. So this isn't a great method in terms of time because gathering those ingredients can take a while. However, if you are able to buy those ingredients, and under a lot of circumstances you can buy them, definitely there will be plenty of butter and sugar here because of my previous money making videos and because they're pretty good for money. So you can definitely buy sugar, you can definitely buy butter, you can buy some flour here, not a lot, and you can buy some pans here as well as on the dock in Wharf Molo. But if you can obtain those ingredients in any way, whether buying on the market or just slowly buying from shops as you go, Tortuga is a good place for this, both for the cooking and the buying because you can do both in one spot. But basically, if you can buy these ingredients and have them available, you can actually make a ridiculous amount of cooking XP per hour and make a good bit of money while doing it. So apple pie is free if you buy the ingredients from the shop. So if you buy the ingredients at the shop prices, you basically get free cooking experience at the rate of 166K per hour for the actual cooking portion. I didn't time the shopping because it's hard to, identify how long it will take to get that much of all those ingredients. So it's not great. It's not really a sustainable method, but it is worth a mention because it is the fastest cooking experience in the game, and all of the ingredients can be acquired from shops. So again, in order to cook apple pie, you need to have egg, butter, sugar, egg, sugar, flour, salt, and pans, as well as apples, all of which can be bought from shops. You can also farm these ingredients if you really want to, but I don't think it's worth the time if we're going for cooking XP. So again, 166K per hour, definitely the best cooking XP in the game at the moment, and all the ingredients are buyable from shops, which makes it actually viable, but not very great for doing in bulk. All right, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you learned how to cook in SkyBlock Isles. This video took me an obscene amount of time. There were so many calculations, and yes, if you mention it, I probably tried it, and it has been defined and definitely calculated and tested to be worse than the methods I showed. So congratulations, guys. You are now all better, smarter cookers. and hopefully all of you will be level 75 cooking and cook tons of food. And please don't buy all the bamboo because I want to use that method, but, well, the cat's out of the bag. Thank you guys, I'm Thorpian. Have a great day.